excited. Welcome back to Resistance Chick. She's like, where's your newspaper? Where's your newspaper? We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is December 8th, 2017.
I like that's turning out really nice on the phone.
Oh, well, thank you. You're so kind. We were just unloading a bunch of manure, and we literally raced in. I still have my long johns on, so there you have it. However, Leah got all the news ready today, and there is some big news happening.
Craziness. The world is a crazy place.
Finally, Al Franken resigns. Now, his speech, and I know you're going to play it, but let me give the punchline. He was like, the fact that I have to resign for like what I did, but, you know, the president gets to stay in office when he has, you know, assaulted these women.
Get that newspaper.
Oh my god!
Actually, I'm not gonna play him. I'm just
gonna play it
because I don't want to hear his voice. Oh, my hair's kind of rubber banding. I'm rubber banding.
That's not a word.
Well, you can't see underneath the thing. That's why. Okay. So, I still, you guys, from time to time, I will bring to you our hometown newspaper,
which has gone completely left and used to be completely right.
Yes.
It got bought out by globalists.
Yes, this is a globalist newspaper. All of your mainstream media, just a friendly reminder that all of your mainstream media have talking points.
Yes.
Many of you might be new, but this Cincinnati Enquirer, Ohio, is heavily Republican. And not that we advocate, we don't lean left, we don't lean right, we lean on the Word of God. My point is
but
for
the
them
leftist
to be...
people put out more propaganda than anybody on the right. The corruption may be there, but the propaganda machine is up and running.
Exactly. So when we talk about the mainstream media, when we're talking about Hollywood,
right,
we're talking about anything that has to do with entertainment or television or movies, it's all left leaning. Right. And so I get we used to get it every day. I only pay for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just because I want to stay up on how the lefties are disseminating their talking points to the average person.
Right.
Because we covered the fact that after the election, Obama's Organizing for Action was telling people on the website, come and get trained, and we'll show you how to be activists, and we'll show you how to write into your newspaper.
And they did.
And so then the Enquirer literally had people doing that. They went and
But they put it in the paper.
And they put it in the paper.
They were like, here, come and learn how to submit things to the paper.
Exactly. They set it up so people could, do this thing. So this is the front page today. Now, I don't believe that Al Franken should be front page news, especially when Peter Strunk, I don't know how to say his last name. I just can never say it. The FBI investigator who, if you've been watching anything Strzok. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It has a Z in it. It throws me off.
It's
a
silent Z.
Who puts a Z in a name? Anyways. He basically is being investigated now finally because he and many people in the FBI and even in the Justice Department and in the CIA, all these deep staters have been anti-Trump and pro-Hillary.
Yes.
And we're going to cover all of that later. I'm going to show you a video by Senator Grassley that lays that all out. Mm-hmm. But that's the deep state at the top. And so how do they disseminate their information and their lies? Because
down to the little people. And people aren't sitting by the fireside radio anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? To literally, you had one avenue of news. It was much easier to do a propaganda machine during World War II than it is now. So now they have to hit this kind of thing very heavily.
Well, and it was actually easier when there was just like 3 stations on the television too.
Correct.
Because without the internet... That was, the internet was a thing in 2001, but it wasn't as big. What I mean
really,
is, during 9/11 and all that stuff, it came out later. People didn't have the cell phones, and if people had more cell phones and more video capturing cell phones back then, we probably would never have gone to war, things like that. So, anyways, this is the front page of the newspaper here. And I'm not going to tease Al Franken's wife, but I am going to tease because that's his wife who knows that he is a serial groper. That he goes around, she knows who he is.
You can't be married to somebody like that and not know.
She's a huge pervert. She's seen the pictures.
Perv.
Okay, it's a girl.
She married him.
It's sick. It's so sick. But the front page says, Franken to resign. Senator disputes allegations, suggests he's being held to a different standard. I, of all people, am aware that there is some irony in the fact that I am leaving while a man who has bragged on tape about his history of sexual assault sits in the Oval Office. However, what my point is, I want you to see that this is the quote.
Right.
There's no apology here. There's no, I did something wrong.
Right.
This is, I'm resigning so that the Democrats can point their fingers at Roy Moore and President Trump and force President Trump to resign. Because Senator Sanders has already come out, Bernie, and said Trump should resign. This is all a calculated move, but guess what, guys? It's not going to work. Because this is like...
that tape was spliced together, for one, of Trump. Right. Not defending what he said, but still it was spliced together. And B, he wasn't in the Oval Office when it happened. And C, he wasn't saying, I go up and just... do this thing. He was saying these women are so...
they're such floozies.
That they throw themselves on you and let you do whatever you want.
And we have seen this...
which is not assault, by the way.
Exactly.
If a woman lets you do those things.
If a woman throws herself...
doesn't make what he said okay. We're not defending it. But Al Franken is trying to turn that little quote into his pictures of grabbing and groping women and his history of actual accusers.
He's basically saying... He's not a good liar here. He literally is not even falling on the sword. He's like, they are chopping my head off. I'm not going because I want to. Right. I don't think I have done anything wrong.
Pretty much.
I'm resigning so that my colleagues will stop hounding me.
Right.
And basically, this is all set up to try to take down President Trump.
Bingo.
Roy Moore, they really do want to get rid of him too. He's not even elected yet. They know he will be elected. The last ditch effort on that. We're going to bring you this. I mean, Roy Moore did not do what anything. He didn't do, the only thing that Roy Moore did that was kind of odd is that as a 30-year-old, he dated young girls.
Right.
I call them girls, but they were of age.
At the time.
Right. And
it was legal.
It was legal. So he did that because I don't know why. I guess he didn't want people who had slept around, and I don't know. He actually ended up marrying a woman who'd been divorced and had a child. So anyways, friendly reminder, town hall here. Al Franken never apologized and said his accusers were liars. So it says, well, Stuart Smalley's time in the U.S. Senate has come and gone after 8 women accused him of sexual harassment. I personally, I don't like what Al Franken did.
Right.
But the pictures that he's taken, grabbing people by the there are different levels, and he is accused of, his last accuser said that when she got a picture, he put his arm around her and grabbed some flesh. We don't know what flesh he grabbed. She didn't say.
Yeah, because some of us got like extra flesh in the back here.
Right, and so I'm not going to say that somebody is a groper or needs to resign,
right?
Because he teases somebody,
right,
and squeezes them on the side,
right?
That is not a big thing,
right?
I don't even actually think that he needed to resign by touching somebody in the rear. To me, I know people joke like that. It's not on the level of sexual assault.
Right.
Okay? Now, that would be something that you could apologize for. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was funny.
Right.
Right? However, this to me, they're making him resign.
Because they're throwing him under the bus so that they can try. They're grasping at straws here.
Right.
They have a goal to get Trump out by, like, the end of 2018 at the latest.
Well, they wanted
by the elections.
Jeb Bush said he'd be out by Christmas.
I know. Well, it's not going to happen. So they are really, it's embarrassing.
It's a chess game, and every move they make,
they're showing their hand.
There's a counter move, and they end up losing ground.
Right.
Because when you play chess and you sacrifice a piece and it doesn't go right,
right,
you're left weaker.
Right.
And so with them sacrificing Conyers, this isn't a sacrifice for Conyers. It wasn't even, Nancy Pelosi came out on Conyers and defended him.
Right.
Over and over and over again. We don't know who the accusers are, but Roy Moore was already a pedophile.
Sure. In that same interview. We played that last week.
Exactly. So this is, I don't really want to hash this out too much. Because it's sickening to me. However, I will go here and okay. This to me,
this is exciting. Here, let me read this comment.
Okay.
From John says, Roy Moore getting an endorsement from President Trump, I believe will finally win in Alabama. Now, I'm confused because that endorsement kind of gets thrown out there and then reneged and then thrown out there. Are we at an official?
Yes.
He's officially, because he had officially supported Roy Moore like last week and then he pulled back from that and then went back in again.
He's officially supporting him.
Very good. All right, so back to Roy Moore.
Yeah, so, and Roy Moore is on Twitter like, Trump is awesome, make America great again. It's really hilarious to watch. However, this bombshell report that Beverly Nelson admits she forged the yearbook.
This should be all over the news.
It should be. It should have been front page of the newspaper. Right. You're not going to see it because
it doesn't
ABC
their agenda. Right.
Already spun it. They coordinated with her and Gloria Aldrich.
Right.
Coordinated so that, okay, she's got to admit that the second half of it was her own handwriting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but he still did sign it, is what she's saying.
Right.
Now, what a tangled web we weave. When first we practice to deceive. Now, everybody on the left is saying, yeah, but it was just like a diary, and she just wanted to make
a note.
And you
know what? That's fine. I have to tell you, if I were in her shoes, I was coming out against Roy Moore, I had this yearbook signed by him, and I had made that note, when I came out, I would already know. Right. You know what? This is going to, I'm not stupid. They're going to be able to tell that I added this later. It's my handwriting. I would say, he signed this. I made this annotation. Because you know what? That's actually just as valid. To say that I made this annotation at the time.
Like Comey's memos.
Yeah, exactly. To come out right at the very beginning.
Right.
The fact that she didn't proves, it's literal proof, that this is just a spin. Because, oh my gosh, how are we going to play this now that, you know what I mean, it's completely false.
Listen.
Signature appears because he signed her yearbook, and we have provided you with copies, I think it is. Oh, here. Okay, this is what we gave you as a copy, wherein he says, he signed it to her, we didn't give her name, but he said, to a sweeter, more beautiful girl, I could not say Merry Christmas. Christmas 1977. Hold the other end, please. Thank you. Love Ray Moore. Oh, excuse me. Love Roy Moore. D.A. 122277 Old Hickory House.
Now look at her smug face. Yes, he wrote all of it. I'm shutting the book. Now, listen. This woman isn't smart.
Neither of them are.
She literally filled it in afterwards. The Moore part, the DA part, and the date, and the place.
Yes.
And I know you guys already all know this. However, there was another waitress there who worked for the same 2-year period that this Beverly woman said she worked there. And she said, I'm a Christian woman. I don't want to get involved, but I can't keep silent. Beverly didn't work there with me. You would know who you worked with for 2 years. She also, Beverly said that she served Roy Moore, but she served him at the counter. However, this waitress who did work there said the cook or the bartender at the time would have served people at the counter.
Right.
And she said Roy Moore never came in.
And no one in a suit ever came in.
And she said, well, Beverly said that it closed at 11. She said, we never closed at 11. We always close at 12.
Right.
Beverly said that she was hired at 15. And the woman said they only hired at 16.
Right.
So what Beverly tried to do was make it seem like she was younger when Roy Moore was talking to her. Mm-hmm. Do you see how she tried to make that? And so there's so many lies, the way where the trash cans were and all these different things. And now we've come out that she literally forged the yearbook, and ABC is complicit in this. This is not just bad journalism.
This is out and out lying.
This is it's almost like it's a military. What's another word I'm looking for? They're using this to make sure Roy Moore and the president look bad.
But actually, it's just making them look bad.
All right, so let's get to the meat of it. And I'm not going to play her interview because number one, she looks high. She looks like she's on drugs, and I know when people lie, and she is lying through her teeth. She's a wicked, wicked woman. I'll play you just a second. Michelle can tell, too.
It sickens me to wonder what may go on with him if he gets into office, maybe. You know, he could be doing this still. We don't know. And then again, I hope that he's changed.
This morning, Beverly Young Nelson sitting down exclusively with GMA. She was 16 when
I can't play anymore. I'm sorry. It's all live, so. Okay, so she finally...
And here's the thing. I don't know how well that picture comes through to you guys, but that steady stare where she's actually not looking at anything,
right?
Because you're thinking so hard how to come up with what you're going to say next. Right. It's just she's just looking like, we don't know. I got to come up with my lie next. It was very, very telling.
So Beverly Young Nelson has finally admitted that she forged a portion of the infamous high school yearbook that she and attorney Gloria Aldridge used. Now, every day Roy kept saying, "Hey, present that." It was like 14 or 15. I don't know what day he was on. Present the yearbook for forensic analysis, and they wouldn't do it. Now, they wouldn't do it.
This is Breitbart saying forged. I'm wondering what is the official word that they're using, because I know they're not saying she admitted to forging it.
She made annotations.
Yeah, thank you.
So, in yet another blow to the credibility of ABC News, the disgraced left-wing network downplayed the bombshell by presenting this admission of a forgery as added notes to the inscription. Worse still, the reporter actually coaches Nelson, puts words in her mouth, and to downplay the enormous significance of her deceit. I have a hard time watching deceitful people, so I'm going to read to you parts of the transcript. It's too much. You guys can watch it. It's just, I watched parts of it. It gets under my skin like nails on a chalkboard.
Like watching Obama.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I could only watch Hillary when she was doing the debates with Trump. Right. That was cool. Nelson admits she did make notes to the inscription, ABC News tells us, but the message was all Roy Moore. Beverly, he signed your yearbook. ABC News reporter Tom Lama says he did sign it.
Oh, he did.
So he's already convinced.
He's leading her.
This is called leading the witness, right? And you made some notes underneath. They called her in. They told her. They put words in her mouth.
Literally leading the witness here.
I can't do it.
This is painful.
Yes, she says. Then, after a woman admits to forging a document used in a campaign to destroy the Republican nominee for the U.S. Senate in Alabama, ABC quickly moves on as though it is not news of extraordinary consequence.
Of course.
Lamas also fails to ask any follow-up questions, such as, if the explanation is so simple, why wait all these weeks to offer it? Why did you lie? We saw her and Aldridge read it.
Yeah.
She didn't say, well, I signed Roy Moore DA because I thought that he would put DA next to his signature because I thought he was the DA at the time.
Right.
Because he was the deciding judge against me in my divorce case.
Right.
And so I have a copy of his signature.
She didn't say any of that.
And his aide put his own initials, DA, next to it.
Right.
And she thought it meant district attorney.
Right.
This ABC reporter did not grill her on why she put DA there.
Right.
Did she look at the divorce papers? Why didn't he ask her that? Did you look at your divorce papers to see how he signed this?
Right.
Before you put
because that would be
DA?
telling of forgery, not just making a annotation.
Exactly.
I like what So What says here. She misremembered. She just misremembered. Probably not.
Okay. Nelson is accusing Moore of attempting to assault her when she was 16. How can anyone believe anything she says after holding this back? I can't. I won't. I refuse to. You have lost. Here's the thing. When somebody says one thing and somebody says another thing, what you have to do is if there's no evidence, right. And even if he did sign it, that would... I'm actually glad she brought up this fake yearbook.
Oh,
because it shows that she's lying. She didn't need to.
She didn't have to bring up the yearbook, period.
No,
she could have just said this happened.
Yearbooks prove nothing. Anybody could sign a yearbook.
The fact that he signed the yearbook doesn't prove anything other than he knew her. But guess what? We know that he knew you, sister, because he presided over your divorce.
Right. Okay, so it's absolutely mind-boggling. She should have never brought forth the yearbook.
Right.
As some sort of piece of evidence. But she's thoroughly discredited. People on Twitter are saying there's multiple accusers. I'm going to go over it one more time because the election is Tuesday.
Keep going. I'm going to fix the lighting.
Okay. The election is Tuesday, and the truth just has to get out there. Leah Korfman said that she was 14 years old when her mother went in for a court case. She didn't tell us what that court case was. Okay, so these are lies of omission. Okay, that court case was for her mother to sign over full custody of her to her dad because she was drinking, having dealings with boys. We don't know. She's probably sleeping around at 14. She was a wild, disobedient child, I'm sure, who lied. You don't, Michelle would know. We know girls like this.
Yes.
You don't become a 14-year-old who drinks and sleeps around without becoming a habitual liar.
Correct.
It's impossible.
Right.
You are a habitual liar. So when we have habitual liars against somebody who has not been proved to be a liar, people may not like his stance on the 10 Commandments.
Right.
They might not like his stance on homosexuality.
Right.
But he has not been any sort of proven liar.
Correct.
So you have...
You know what he has proven, though? He's proven that he has moral grounds and he's willing to put his job on the line in order to have something holy and sacred in a government office.
Right.
That's a pretty big deal.
So Korfman said that Roy Moore's abuse led her to drinking, boyfriends, attempted suicide.
Okay.
However, she was drinking and sleeping around
beforehand.
Right. And then a year later, her mom petitions the court, says she's doing better, and gets custody back.
Right.
So her timeline is full of lies and it's full of holes. Again, she said that she met Roy Moore around the corner, but the street names that she gave were a mile down the road across a super like busy main road you wouldn't cross to get there. Okay. Correct. It's not around. So it's full of lies. She's a known liar. She's been divorced 3 times. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but when you put his record, I've been married to the same woman, I have kids and I have grandkids, I'm not a known liar, you have to do character.
Right.
Roy Moore's character against their character, it's over. We're done. I believe him 100%.
Linder, your birthday's today. Happy
birthday.
From Leah and Michelle and Patriot Gallery.
Everybody
in the chat can wish Linder 1 a happy birthday.
So we've covered Al Franken and Roy Moore and the craziness going on there.
Yep.
And now we're going to cover another set of craziness. We all knew that there would be an uproar just by saying there's consulates, and I was talking to supposed to get our friend on the phone. My mom wants me to interview our Jewish friend who he's had, I'm not sure if he wants his name out there, I don't know, I gotta check with him first, but he has been interviewed by Greta Van Susteren over the Tea Party debacle with the IRS, and he's a Jew, and 2 years ago he went to Israel, and I was asking him because some people were saying that East Jerusalem, which is run by the Arabs, is safe for Jews. Ben Shapiro said it's not safe. And so this is a dear friend of mine. He's like family. And so I asked him and I said, is this true? When you went there, what was it like?
Right.
And he said, what Ben Shapiro said was true. You have an uneasy feeling. Half of the Christian sites and half of the, I don't know, he said several of the Via Dolorosa sites are in East Jerusalem. But he said there's a different feeling when you cross over into the Arab portion. It's not as safe. And he says that he welcomes this news. And I'm going to show you through Paul Joseph Watson's here.
Who got a haircut. Look how short. He looks military.
Yeah. That Clinton and Bush and Obama all said that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel.
Right.
So there is absolutely no reason whatsoever that you can't put an embassy in the capital. That's what this is all about.
Right.
You might not like Jews. I have to tell you though, when we did cover this, we have a young woman who is partly Jewish, and you guys, you destroyed her. You hurt her. Don't do it. She is a good person. Don't destroy people with your anti-Jew comments.
Yes.
All right? I know good Jews. I know bad Jews. Okay? I know good Christians. I know horrible Christians.
Yeah, they're not really Christians.
Horrible.
They just say they are.
Okay? So there's nowhere in the Genesis through Malachi that is bad. Those are the Jews that we can hang out with.
Right. Marcin says his birthday was 4 days ago. Happy belated
So Paul Joseph Watson spells this out so much better than I ever could.
Caused international outrage by recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Who would do such a thing?
Jerusalem is still the capital of Israel and must remain an undivided city accessible to all.
As soon as I take office, I will begin the process of moving the United States ambassador to the city of Israel as chosen as its capital.
That's what he promised to do. He said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it.
Continue to say that Jerusalem will be the capital of Israel. And I have said that before, and I will say it again. And Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel.
Oh, but why is Trump doing this now? Why is he inflaming the Middle East and provoking an explosion of violence? Whoa, 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 whoa. Why would Muslims resort to violence?
Good question. You know your husband will beat you. That's right. If you do not do A, B, or C, or D.
Duh.
And it's your fault that he hit you.
Yes.
I actually have a friend who said that about her mom and dad.
Yeah.
We all know by now Islam is a religion of peace. So, I mean, it's impossible. I don't understand. You're saying Muslims have so little control over their actions, they're just gonna flip out like animals. Sounds pretty Islamophobic to me. And I mean, it's not as if they're setting fire to their own neighborhoods and violently attacking Jewish restaurants.
Ironic.
I have to say that when I see this, I believe in creation. I do not believe we descended from apes or animals, but it makes me question.
And firing rockets into Israel. It's not like the leader of Hamas called for peace to be abandoned and for Palestinians to launch an uprising. It's not like the head of Hamas in Gaza literally called for terrorism. Islam's a religion of peace. That's impossible. It's not.
Yeah, so the Palestinians are saying that Palestine is from the river to the sea or whatever, which doesn't leave much room for Israel at all. And I guess in Lebanon, they're still at war with Israel, and they do not recognize Israel as anything. It's all just Palestine.
Not happening. These are reasonable people. It's not like they were massacring Jews in Jerusalem 20 years before Israel even existed. It's not like they've repeatedly called for Israel to be wiped from the pages of history. That's never happened. It's not like the Palestinian Authority still refuses to acknowledge Israel's right to even exist. It's not like Muslims have launched violence against Jews for the sin of visiting Jewish holy sites for decades. It's not like Muslims used gravestones from Jewish cemeteries to pave their roads.
This is another truth. My friend who was in Jerusalem, he was telling me how the Arabs there desecrated the gravestones and used them as paver stones, not because they needed pave stones, but to walk on.
Right.
It's so...
None of that happened. These are reasonable people. There's no history whatsoever of them turning violent, and if they ever did, it could only be Donald Trump's fault. Not because they're anti-Semites who just hate Jewish people. They're reasonable. Also, Trump recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel is so reckless, it's unprecedented. It's not like Congress passed a law 22 years ago called the Jerusalem Embassy Act, which described Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Oh, it did. It's not like the US Senate voted 90-0 that Jerusalem should remain the undivided capital of Israel just 6 months ago. Oh, it did. It's not like Bill Clinton came into office supporting the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Oh, he did. Yeah, but it's not like George W. Bush promised to move the US Embassy to Jerusalem. Oh, he did. But Trump's bad anyway, because he's following through on his promise. That's bad. I mean, CNN literally says he's bad for keeping his promises, so I guess it must be true. Also, doesn't this just prove everyone right who said that Trump was a Nazi and literally Hitler?
It is time.
Okay, so this is actually very disconcerting to me. Obama went on like a little world jaunt, and he said to watch out that he sees the rise of Hitler coming in America.
Looks like Hitler to me.
Jerusalem is...
of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Oh, we did. Yeah, but it's not his promise. That's bad. I mean, CNN literally says he's bad for keeping his promises, so I guess it must be true. Also, doesn't this just prove everyone right who said that Trump was a Nazi and literally Hitler?
It is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Trump's bending over backwards to please Zionists and Jews, just like Hitler did. Anyway, here's a list of groups and people furious at Trump's decision to move the embassy to Jerusalem. Turkey's Islamist president, Erdogan, Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz, ISIS, Hamas, globalist political leaders, virtually the entire political left, the mainstream media.
Totally erratic decision by this president.
And Muslims in general. Hashtag not all Muslims. What an upstanding alliance. I'm so proud to be a part of it. Erdogan was right when he accused Trump of throwing the region into a ring of fire, and he'd know all about that, having covertly provided direct military, financial and logistical support to ISIS for years. But what Trump's done is beyond insane. He's playing with fire. Hamas has threatened to open the gates of hell because they've never done that before. Oh, but aside from all that, how stupid is it that Jerusalem could be considered the capital of Israel? It's not like Israel won a war or something to secure exactly that. It's not like Jerusalem is where the Prime Minister of Israel lives. It's not like Jerusalem is where all their government agencies are based. It's not like Jerusalem is where their parliament sits. It's not like Jerusalem was the capital of the Kingdom of Israel, the site of the temple, and the wellspring of Judaic thought for millennia. None of that is true. Islam is a religion of peace, and if any violence happens, it's Donald Trump's fault.
There we go. Well said, PJW. I like what says. I would like to throw Erdogan into a ring of fire, peacefully, of course.
Erdogan, yes. Speaking of Erdogan, Turkey's Erdogan is cozying up to Muslims in northern Greece.
Lovely.
Hinting at territorial claims like, hey, let's take a piece of Greece, take a piece of this pie. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan met with members of Greece's Muslim minority on Friday, ending a landmark visit to Greece that sharply divided opinion in the country and saw tensions in relations resurface. Erdogan attended prayers at the Kurmahala Kami Mosque in the northeastern town of Komotini, where he was greeted by several thousand supporters chanting his name. He spoke to the crowd outside a Turkish language school. There are close to 100,000 of our kinsmen. You are a bridge between Turkey and Greece. That's how we see you.
A bridge to be walked on.
Officials in Athens had hoped Erdogan's visit would help ease the strains between Turkey and European countries, but in public statements, Erdogan and Greek officials raised long-standing grievances. The Greek government undertook a bold initiative to invite Turkish president to Athens. The frank exchange of views, he said, would ultimately help improve relations. It is the first visit by a Turkish president in 65 years. The two NATO allies have come to the brink of war several times during the last 4 decades over the disputed boundaries of the Aegean Sea and war-divided island of Cyprus. On Friday, Erdogan walked through Komotini, handing out toys to children and greeting supporters. Sounds like Hitler to me. And he also met 2 Muslim clerics who are not officially recognized by the state. Security was tight, and the roads were blocked off. Erdogan earlier rattled his host in Athens by saying the 1923 treaty that set the borders of modern Turkey and outlined the status of the minorities, the Muslim minority in Greece and the Greek minority in Turkey, should be updated. The two sides went on to verbally spar and live televised appearances over several issues. There goes my phone. I thought I turned it down.
No, you didn't.
A bunch all at one time. Yay. So anyways, Turkey wants to take a little piece of Greece away and wants to use the Greek Muslims to do that. So Erdogan is a dictator. He wants to turn Turkey into an Islamist state. He has promised that if he won the concessions that he won back in April, that it would be about 10 years. There's so much widespread corruption. He went across Europe trying to drum up votes from Turkish citizens living in other states and other countries. Well, speaking of states, they do want a United States of Europe. They're putting that on the agenda. To actually, anybody who doesn't want to abide by the new set of rules won't be part of it.
Right.
It's very interesting. I believe they're trying to oust out anybody.
Which is actually really great because I think that very quickly they'll have lost everybody,
Right.
But, hang on really quickly. I want to get to, everybody has a lot of comments about our last subject. It's a hot topic. You can watch our video from last night where I actually interacted. We did cover a lot of topics.
The night before last.
The night before last. However, all comments are welcome. They must be intelligent and not like literally out and out, like anti-Semitic, like all Jews are just whatever. You can't. Otto actually has some legitimate facts. I may not agree with them, but they're like, I may not agree with his stance behind them, but they're facts. And so I appreciate that he's putting those in the chat. Otto is a great guy to be trusted. So I want to be able to have a discussion about this without actually hurling just it's all Jews, because that doesn't make you sound smart and intelligent. And like
it sounds like the leftists. The leftists always say Donald Trump's a Nazi.
We have a lot of amazing conservative Jewish friends and Americans, and all you're doing is alienating a massive amount of really great people.
Right.
So I want you guys to use intelligence. Anything that is literally out and out just anti-Semitic, just to be hateful for the sake of being hateful to Jews, shows your ignorance, they will be deleted. Anything else that actually has facts, that brings the discussion to the table, totally welcome.
Right.
Look at Otto's comments for an example.
Right. All right. So, Turkey, thousands protest Trump's Jerusalem decision. President Erdogan, Jerusalem is our red line, threatens Trump must correct his mistake. No surprise, Erdogan was jihadi Obama's favorite, most trusted ally, and repeatedly called him for advice on how to raise his daughters.
Okay. Is this got something in it besides that?
Well, it's just the turkey headscarf Muslims here.
Horatio says that the Greeks are still pretty upset about the last time the Turks invaded.
So when you had a bunch of people, a bunch of Muslims, unfortunately, yelling Allah Akbar, blah, 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 we don't like this. Unfortunately, a lot of decisions can be based on who is against it.
Right.
Okay. When Donald Trump goes upsets Saudi Arabia, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Horatio adds, if the Greeks leave the EU and the EU leaves them to the Turks, that would be an interesting start to World War III.
Remember, a lot of people in Turkey did not support Erdogan, and he was a dictator, and he's upset about this. Okay, so follow the rabbit trail,
right?
Follow the rabbit trail.
Worth a look adds, Turkey has about 95% land outside of Europe, yet they want to join the EU. LOL, be the worst decision ever, allowing them to join even if the UK isn't part of it. Well said.
I wanted to bring this up, show you more anti-Semitism. It's not okay to be anti-Semitic. Okay?
Right.
Being anti-Semitic is like being anti-black. If you put comments in there and say all black people blank,
yeah,
that's racist. We aren't racist here, okay? You can say certain people from certain regions who are raised in a certain culture,
correct,
are that way because of how they are raised.
Right.
If they tend to be black, then they tend to be black.
Right.
Okay? South Africa, the black people in South Africa are doing reverse apartheid, and they are killing white South Africans.
Right.
Are all black people doing it? No. But it's only black people who are doing it. Do you see where I'm follow? Right. Use your mind.
Right.
Be able to differentiate between a whole group of people
and a group within the group.
Yes. Races, we're all part
like
of
the Jesuits within Catholicism.
Exactly. French school in Lebanon forced to apologize for putting Israel on the map. Literally just putting it on the map.
Wow.
A private French school in Beirut has sparked controversy after it emerged one of its textbooks referred to the land south of Lebanon as Israel and not Palestine. Under Lebanese law, Israel's very existence is forbidden from being acknowledged. Now, her name is Gabrielle. What's her name? You guys know the woman who, she's really pretty. She looks like Judge Jeannie. And she was from Lebanon. And she's actually Christian, was raised Christian. And during this Lebanese uprising that turned it into an Islamist state,
right,
her family had to hide in the basement and starve and I think they even eat grass or something crazy like that.
Awful.
And she said that Lebanon before the Islamic takeover had Jews and Arabs and Christians and everybody got along.
Right.
As soon as the Islamists take over, then their Islamist rule controls everything.
Correct.
And Lebanon is not the same
Mark
now.
H. says that the most dangerous job in the world right now is to be a white farmer in South Africa.
Yes, it actually is. You will die. I mean, you have a good percentage chance of dying. And we haven't really covered that as much as I would like to. I'm waiting for another day. But
you said Jeannie, you meant Janine.
Janine. I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the transgression, I put in quotes, first surfaced on social media when the father of a 9-year-old girl posted a picture of a map showing Israel in one of the school's textbooks, along with a caption, "This is what my 4th grade daughter learned in class today." Because, as you see here, it says Israel is next to Jordan and Jerusalem is the capital. It's actually true, and he circled it himself. And he didn't put anything about transgenders up or Common Core, just the fact. I mean, Israel is Israel. Do you people know that borders have changed throughout history?
Right.
Right now, Israel is Israel. Jerusalem is the capital. If people want to change that, people can change it. People change things all the time. You know, it says the school is forced into an apology, issuing a statement saying it has absolute respect for the sovereignty and history of Lebanon while emphasizing its commitment.
Brigitte Gabriel.
Yes, that's her. Thank you.
I sound smart. I just read it.
It's commitment to the official curriculum. She lays it all down. The Muslim Brotherhood, everything. She'll tell you about Hamas. She'll tell you about Palestine. She'll tell you about Israel. She's not Jewish, but she will tell you the truth of who is right and who is wrong in this particular incident. Okay. Yes.
What is your problem?
There have been bad Israeli defense forces. Yes, we have. Israel is guilty of what we're guilty of as a country, right? No more, no less. And I'll leave it at that. So you're going to say
the Jew Zionists are trying to take over the world.
I have many Jewish friends who are not trying to take over the world. All right, they want to live in peace. Now I do know some bad liberal Jewish people who actually are on the side of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Okay, those are the globalists. Those are the people. So follow the evil. Follow George Soros and Hillary Clinton.
But he's a Jew.
Yeah, he's not a real Jew. He turned his back on his Jewish family. He went into their homes and grabbed their stuff and helped them get put on trains to concentration camps. Seriously, wicked man. Okay. So, anyways, the school had to say they were sorry. Issuing a statement saying it has absolute respect for the sovereignty and history of Lebanon. Oh, our new dog food came today. She's getting out a new dog food came today. And it is now, it's now going everywhere. Everywhere. So while emphasizing its commitment to the official curriculum, Lebanon and Israel remain technically at war, and Lebanon does not allow recognizing Israel in any form, even on the maps.
We're all fine here. Everybody's fine.
Jasper is our dog, Husky, and she's a Husky. And usually it's been Sydney who's been whiny and bad when we go live, but Jasper has taken to be really needy only when we go live. And so we're going to try to get her some dinner here. When she's ornery. She's cute, but she's ornery. All right, so we are going to move on to Theresa May. And I have on my Horatio's flat cap for the EU debacle here. Nigel Farage is responding to Theresa May's capitulation, maybe? I'm not exactly sure what to call it. When you're getting a divorce and you're getting mowed over, not getting much out of it, but giving over your life savings or whatever to your ex, it's probably not fair. Or I don't know why Theresa May doesn't want to just do no deal. I don't know. I don't know why she doesn't want to. She doesn't have a good backbone, that's for sure. Nigel Farage says the 17.4 million did not vote for a large exit fee. The ECJ continuing to have a say over our country or a 2-year transition. This is not a deal. It is capitulation. And actually, I came up with that word before I read that. I read it, but it was in my mind at a different time. So, whatever. Michelle's giggling. Stop laughing.
It's not my fault.
Isn't it?
Okay.
It's a victory. If you think paying away a gargantuan sum of money is a good thing, if you think giving foreign courts jurisdiction over this country for nearly up to a decade to come, and in terms of alignment, well, really what we're saying today is that the potential benefits of Brexit won't be realised because we will not be able to put in place laws that suit our own industry. So we have put a lot on the table for absolutely nothing guaranteed in return.
But I got a good picture. We're going to get a good picture here with Yunker. Yunker's pretty happy about it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how she does it. I don't know how it's got to be humiliating. It's just got to be humiliating. Paul Joseph Watson had some things to say about this capitulation. I'm going to try to find what he had
Jess
to
was
say.
cleaning up the food. She never does that. She must have really been hungry. We've been out of dog food for like 3 days. So, I mean, not that they haven't been eating. We have other stuff, but there we go.
Okay.
I don't even know where to pick up from the comments here. There's too many.
Boris Johnson and Michael Gove are putting their party before country again. They know this isn't what 17.4 million people voted for. Is that the same one we just watched? Oh, he likes to put up little clips. Let's see if this is a different clip.
For any excessive demands in terms of a financial settlement. Well, today he said he's very happy. He's congratulated Theresa May.
Yeah, well done, Boris. Party first. Always put party loyalty first. You know, a cabinet of 25 people, 18 of whom are Remainers, but it's all about the party, not about the country, and not about what we voted for. Come on, 17.4 million people did not vote for a large exit fee, did not vote for the European Court of Justice to go on having a say over this country, and most certainly did not vote, and this is the next thing coming up, for a transition deal that will probably last until the next general election.
So this is just not awesome. I don't know. Is anybody here from the UK? Thoughts?
We do have some UK people here. I don't know if they're adding any thoughts here. Let me scroll through to the bottom here.
Let's see. This is Paul Joseph Watson. This is Katie Hoppins saying the real deal. Katie Hoppins, the real deal. I'm not sure if she's
Worth
talking
a Look
about...
says that Nigel should have been prime minister. Shame it never happened. Dude, the guy is young. It could still happen. I'm not giving up hope.
The president of the EU Council is bragging the UK will be powerless during the 2-year transition period. This is embarrassing. May out now.
Hang on. Britt Baza says, hope Theresa May doesn't get divorced from her husband because she would lose out just like the UK is because of Theresa May's incompetence. Worth a Look says, Farage speaks like how our leader should be speaking, but she isn't strong or willing enough. PM May is a traitor.
So... Paul Joseph Watson, but she had a leader like Trump. I don't know. Let's see.
Horatio says, I don't think it's as dark as Farage is making out, but there's definitely the start of a classic politician's fudge.
Britt Baza has sent me some notes, and he was saying that something about, and I don't want to bring it up right now because I'm not bringing it all up, but maybe you can put in the comments how with this the European court will still be active, so that the immigrants will actually have more say and a better more rights and more rights under that court of justice than the UK citizens.
Liebuster says we are not legally bound to pay anything. The Matrix Hadzu says we are not amused by treason May. Rabaza says Theresa May is a traitor to the UK. Jack Russell says, what about the U.S. free trade deal, treason May?
Treason May.
Buzzy says he's got to go, but he wanted to say Merry Christmas. Worth a Look. Have to be careful wanting May out. Labor might jump for another election and light knacker it all up. What? Stop using those kind of words, man. Nobody knows what you're saying.
Not good enough. EU's Verhofstadt demands easier migration after Brexit. EU court power binding in UK. The European Parliament's Brexit coordinator has laid out 5 further Brexit demands, including 2 making it easier for migrants to come to Britain after the divorce.
Of course.
Guy Verhofstadt.
Because that had nothing to do with some of these people wanting Brexit to start with, to actually keep the illegals out, obviously. So that's just a side issue.
A former Prime Minister of Belgium and hardline Brexit opponent was responding to the already controversial deal allowing Brexit talks to progress to trade, as the parliament he represents has a veto on any final Brexit deal. His demands include 2 conditions pertaining to European Union migrants, 1 easing their passage to the UK after 2019, and 1 ensuring the continued power of the EU courts in the UK. This is exactly what I was trying to bring you guys. Whilst conceding talks must now progress to the next stage, he claimed 5 issues needed to be tackled before orderly withdrawal in the European Parliament Friday. Yet he also acknowledged the UK has far caved in too many of the EU demands, including on the effect of the EU law, which means an EU national living in the UK will be able to use the protections of European law in British courts and on agreement to pay a huge divorce settlement. A lot of the requests that the Parliament has put forward have been achieved, he gloated. And he tweeted this out. This is just kind of a weird world we live in. On migration, he now wants EU nationals living in the UK to be able to bring their families and their future spouses and partners to live with them.
Stop it.
Their future spouses, yes. Even if they meet after Brexit in 2019, or their children are conceived after the UK leaves the bloc. He says entire families of migrants should be able to initiate the procedure of moving to the UK by filling out 1 single application form. What is in this? This is evil. Okay. Furthermore, he called for now here's the thing. It ain't your business.
None ya
business. Okay? Why are you telling Britain what they should do? It has nothing to do with the EU. It doesn't have to do with the rest of Europe. Okay? You're telling Britain people that they need to bring in because you want them to.
Leah, that the divorce has children involved. And the people are the children. And so since they were married, even though these children were not your children to start with, you still feel like you want to control what school they go to and how they eat. Things like that. They're your babies. So God just wants to take care of the babies, the little children. You intelligent people in the UK. That's who he's talking about.
Furthermore, he called for a light touch, free of charge procedure for EU citizens to register in the UK, placing the burden of proof on the Home Office and on the UK authorities to challenge the declaration. The UK has already promised numerous protections for EU migrants and a simplified process of applying to stay, with the Home Office stating, "We accept the majority of cases to be granted."
I like David. We need a war. We need a war. I can read. I am tired of all the posturing.
There will be the direct effect of these rights in the UK and in the UK law. There is also a role for the ECJ, and this opinion is binding inside the UK legal system. He added, "It is crucial for us on citizens' rights and that all rights and all benefits will be covered." So no exceptions. All benefits, all rights. Rights and benefits. Benefits and rights. You know what? Our Constitution does not guarantee benefits as rights.
Correct.
Our Constitution.
No, it doesn't. But speaking of what's actually in writing, Horatio says he can say that about the EU migrants all he wants, but that isn't what the document says.
Cabinet remainers delighted with Brexit deal. EU Pres brags UK will be powerless during transition period. You will have your hands tied behind your back, a noose around your neck should you move, and your feet tied. However, good riddance.
And Horatio has read the document, by the way, because he's a big dork. In a good way.
Why didn't we bring Horatio? Why isn't he just Skyping with us, telling his view? Why do you want...
Because it's like really late there.
Why do you want my view? Horatio knows. He knows. He knows better than we know. And fine, this is my view, I guess. Cabinet Remainers are delighted with the series of massive concessions Theresa May has made in Brussels, with the president of the EU Council bragging the UK will be effectively powerless during the 2-year transition period. Donald Tusk boasted that the deal would mean the UK would be stripped of her decision-making powers in the bloc during the transition period, but would still be subject to its laws, demanding the supposedly sovereign nation will respect the whole of the EU law, including new law. It will respect budgetary commitments. It will respect judicial oversight, and of course, all related obligations. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker.
No, you can say Juncker.
I did
Just
say
Juncker.
meant Juncker.
Juncker.
Likewise, celebrated a plan to give EU citizens superior rights to British nationals, saying Brexit created great uncertainty for EU citizens and for their families. Superior rights. Superior rights. The whole idea of Brexit was to get rights back to the citizens of the UK. The idea of government, self-government, even a democracy, is that we get to have power of our destiny, of our world, of our circle. Okay? The problem with giant governments like the European Union is that you lose the ability to govern your sphere. So then you have Guy Verhofstadt saying, I think that you...
You said Verhofstadt.
I don't know how to say some of these
Verhofstadt.
Say it. Say it for me.
But I like Verhofstadt better.
It's like Jehoshaphat. I get the gist of it. He wants to tell everybody in the UK what to do, but he doesn't live there.
Right.
I mean, you got to get on a plane or a boat to get there.
Correct.
All right. So,
Jim West says May knows she can do what she wants, as people don't want Corbyn.
I don't know. She's just weird, man. And what's with... I got to tell you. What's with all the bally necklaces, like the giant bowls that she wears? Like the necklaces that are always like these big
What
giant...
is that?
Like... They're just huge. I'm sorry. That's just an observation. Either way, it's just
she's got a thing with her jewelry, which is a little bit weird.
Jewelry. Well, you know, she wore the jewelry of the commie woman.
Right. I know.
The commie
that's what I'm
artist.
saying.
She's just weird, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So Juncker says, I think this is great. We want to continue to have control over the UK, and we will. That's my interpretation. Today, we will bring back the certainty. We have made sure that their rights will remain the same after the UK has left the European Union. Support for the Prime Minister's pathetic deal came from some of her cabinet's 18 out of 25 Remain supporters, including Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Yeah.
Philip Remainer Phil Hammond, who tweeted his delight that a deal had been agreed with Brussels and called it a positive step. So,
Zanzan says, greetings from Muslim-occupied Belgium. You need to get together with So What? Yes, and I love that we have viewers.
He's in Germany, but yeah.
That are in these kind of Muslim-occupied territories, and you're still willing to watch us. I feel like you could go to jail just for watching us.
You know what? Don't give us your name. Yeah. I don't want to see you.
Just be Zanzan.
So I don't know if So What's here or not, but there was a guy. I want to get his story right. I know he went to prison because he tweeted out a photo of Muslims and Hitler together, and it was a historic photo, and he went to prison. I believe that he was exonerated. I want to get a link to that. I want to get that up and out there because it's pretty cool if he is. Maybe we'll have So What. We're gonna have him on. I think hopefully we'll have him on Sunday.
Yes.
Afternoon. He kicked off VidMe because VidMe shut down. He's really up and running on all these other new sites, and he can knock them down, but can't knock them out. So
that's right.
All right. So a deal in Brussels, Nigel Farage says, is good news for Mrs. May, as we can now move on to the next stage of humiliation.
Okay.
Former Deputy Prime Minister and Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg, a member of the Remain-backing Unholy Trinity, who recently met with European Commission Chief Negotiator Barnier, tweeted that it was game, set, and match for the EU on money and EU citizens. Clegg's book, How to Stop Brexit, insists there's nothing remotely inevitable about Brexit.
Oh, really?
And claims it would certainly be the best thing for Britain if the public's vote for Brexit was reversed. was recently voted best nonfiction book by a parliamentarian.
No, it sounds kind of like fiction to me.
In a secret ballot of MPs and Lords, a telling indicator of how much support there really is for a full, clean Brexit among Britain's political class. Speaking on the BBC's Daily Politics, UKIP leader Henry Bolton slammed May's deal, calling it a total surrender to the European Commission and estimating that 80% to 90% of it was actually drafted in Brussels. So let's hear what Henry Bolton has to say here.
Want to join the queue of Conservative MPs who are congratulating the Prime Minister and the government on this agreement?
No, absolutely not. No, and good afternoon. No, I mean, what this is a total sort of surrender to the European Commission. And in fact, having worked in Brussels for 3 years, I recognise the style of the document that's been produced, and I would say 80 to 90% of it was actually drafted in Brussels. Of course, we don't know that, but that's my guess.
But the prize is a trade deal is now going to be negotiated, and if Britain is successful in that, surely it'll have your support.
Yes, but if there is no agreement, then we stay under full alignment. And full alignment means effectively that we are tied to the customs union,
correct,
to the single market, and therefore to the European Courts of Justice in that regard.
But also Steve Baker's just said we won't stay in the customs union. Steve Baker has just said we will not stay in the customs union or the single market, and that this full alignment is a fallback, I should say, option, and will only apply to certain areas that are agreed in the Good Friday Agreement.
Yeah, that's not actually correct, because first of all, I mean, yeah, we may not be part of it, but what we will be having to do is comply with it in every respect. So we won't have the freedom to move off it if that's in the best interests of the country. For example, in terms of trade deals and so on, and aligning ourselves to the requirements of other export markets. But with regards to the Good Friday Agreement and the Northern Irish border, that's the start of all this. Well, first of all, the British government and we have never asked for, the UK has never asked for a border there. What Theresa May has allowed to happen is that the European Commission, who want an external border to the European Union, want us to come up with a solution there. But what we've agreed to do in this agreement, or what the government has agreed to do, is obviously a line for Northern Ireland. But then by the following, that's I think paragraph 49. Paragraph 50 of this agreement actually says that the UK will not actually implement any barrier to alignment between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK.
Right, but
and therefore we're tied to we are fully tied to it as the entire UK. And I don't support in any way, absolutely oppose anything that provides an obstacle between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK.
But the point is, Henry Bolton, you are a lone voice, really. I mean, UKIP has, to some extent, been marginalised. And if Eurosceptic Tory MPs and ministers have signed up to this, then your words are going to fall on deaf ears.
I don't think so. I mean, that's a fair observation, but the thing is, they're all aligning behind this because the Tory party are in such a mess over this. We've had a sequence of rather disastrous political and diplomatic events over the last week.
Well, they're all united, aren't they?
Well, they're united because they want to preserve the Conservative Party in power, and that's what this is.
Well, they may
about.
say that's the point of them.
That's why Steve, but it's why Steve Baker is trying to sell this as the headline issue. Isn't it good news that there's an agreement? Well, you know, unfortunately, what they're relying on is that 99% of the population won't actually read the small print, and the small print says you've basically made an agreement where you're going to be handing over a whole load of money that we're still not going to have control over our immigration. We're still going to be tied, even if not actually intrinsically members of. We're going to be tied to the European, or to the common market, the single market, and the customs union, and therefore the ECJ.
Okay.
So there is no withdrawal from this, and there's no end state to it either, or any incentive to reach a further agreement.
Henry Bolton, thank you very much.
Is there something going on with the Elizabeth Tower that Big Ben's sitting in? Because there was like scaffolding all the way up to the top. What is it, getting like a facelift or something?
I think Marty McFly is getting ready.
I mean, seriously, this is like, I'm like, what is happening there? That it's like literally encased there. Somebody can tell me what's happening with that. It is good to see Henry Bolton get his face out there. That was in the comments, and a lot of people.
The BBC was hammering him. It's just like, it's so much just like here in the United States with our mainstream media. It's like, they can't even hide their disdain for Brexit.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
Right. it's so easy for them. It just flies out of their mouth. Oh, sorry.
So angry.
Yes, very angry.
Did you see how angry she was? She's just
and smug
and angry. Like can't even. Ugh. Blah.
Now, a couple of the comments were that we need to do some stuff on Anne-Marie Waters. I thought now might be a good time for you to tell them about your tweet battle.
Well, I have to tell you, it was kind of funny the other day. So, I don't know how it got brought up. I honestly don't know. That Anne-Marie Waters is upset at Ann Coulter. Okay? And she is upset with Gavin McInnes. And I follow both of them. I don't like their take on things all the time.
They're like the American version of Milo Yiannopoulos.
Gavin is foul-mouthed and he pushes things to the limit, I think, on a lot of things. And Ann Coulter is foul-mouthed and pushes things to the limit as well.
Right.
To the edge. And they do it because they are provocateurs, just like Milo, to get attention and to get out there.
The attention brings people to come to listen to the actual facts that they have to say, just like Katie Hopkins.
They use a lot of hyperbole. They go far. They laugh. They make fun of. And I just don't think that Anne-Marie Waters understands American
She's a literalist. Humor. And tell them what Ann Coulter said.
So there's been first I'm trying to find the tweets that went back and forth with myself and Anne-Marie Waters, which I thought was hilarious, by the way. I didn't think she'd tweet back. However, I was just like, somebody had shared it.
Right.
And so I commented on there. She said her exact lines were, Ann Coulter says that she wants to take away women's right to vote.
Right.
And so she is my enemy. All right. And she says, you can just Google it. And so I did. And it's all left-wing little sites you don't even know about. Right. That I've never even heard of. Left-wingers. Ann Coulter does not want to take women's voting rights away. And I tried to explain this to Anne-Marie. I tried to say that we appreciate you. I said that to her. Our viewers love you. A lot of them do. Some don't, like you. But I didn't say that. And I really appreciate the way that she sits down and explains Islam. I don't think she's right all the time. She's definitely more of a lefty. She doesn't really have... I don't really know. Maybe you guys can tell me a little more about her. I know that she tweeted out something about a transgender man taking a woman's position and how wrong that is. And so I'm not sure if
we don't know what her policies are.
I don't know what her policies are. That's my point. So it seems like she is a real hardcore feminist. And in that case, that's cool, right? So like we're always asking, where are the hardcore feminists against Islam?
Right.
Then she seems to be one.
Right.
However, if she is a hardcore feminist, she's going to have a hard time with conservative provocateurs, Gavin McInnes and Ann Coulter.
Now, here's the thing. What Ann Coulter actually said was that I would take away the women's right to vote because the Democratic Party and the Left Party are full of them and they're idiots.
And she's always in jest. And I tried to say, and everybody else was on there was like, this is a joke. She's joking. She said it's a fantasy of mine to repeal the 19th Amendment because women tend to go and lean with the Democratic Party.
Right, yeah.
And not think clearly.
And so I find it hilarious. Leah and I actually, and I don't...
We're anti-feminist, okay? Yes. So it's... You know, here's the thing.
Leah's totally saying Coulter. She can't say Coulter.
I can't.
She cannot. We were on a dog walk the other day, and I literally were going downhill, and I'm like, I'm actually trying to get her to say it correctly, and she just can't. She says, I don't want to say it that way. I'm not going to say it.
Coulter. I just say however I say it. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
But anyway, it's hilarious to me.
And Gavin McInnes tweeted out, what is Anne-Marie? What's her problem right now? What's going on?
It's funny.
He's like, I don't want to take away the women's right to vote, but Gavin McInnes has said, that most women don't want to go into the workforce, and they were forced to work, and they'd rather be at home and be moms.
Right.
And Anne Marie takes issue with that, so much so that it makes her angry.
Colt? Or why is our phone ringing?
I don't know. It never rings.
Oh my gosh. It hasn't rung in a while.
You can turn the ringer off.
I don't know anybody from Bethel.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, it was going back and forth, and we don't lean left, we don't lean right, we lean on the Word of God, but we are more conservative in that I believe that men have roles and women have roles, and that when we flow in our gifts and callings, then things go well. And when we try to break those apart, and we always go back historically and we see what started the feminist movement.
Right.
Okay. So, you have women, the first wave feminists who wanted the right to vote, but there were some evil people in there. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, she wrote this like weird, crazy Bible. She was part of the whole free sex movement, and just real disgusting, perverse person. And then you have people part of the feminist movement. You've got Hugh Hefner, feminist. No, this is not freedom to be able to go have sex with whoever you want and have no consequences. That's not female freedom. Okay, that's male freedom.
But exactly. But it is to these feminists, somehow they're brainwashed, like that video we showed with the little girls the other day. It's freedom for them to be able to say the F word. And
so Anne Marie does not, and I know that this is different in the UK than here in America, because
Leah tweeted back and she's like, what about Monty Python? I mean, can't you get it? It's funny.
It's funny.
It's funny. Leah and I actually probably would take away women's rights to vote, so she probably would have a beef with us. Ann Coulter is literally just joking.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that I would take away women's rights. I go back to history. If you read the 5,000-year leap, it's more of
one vote per household, man.
It was more of a vote.
If your woman's going to go and be the representative, then all right, that's fine.
It was more on. It brought families together,
right?
Where you had a vote per household, per head of household,
right?
And so I think I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking at my tweets.
You tweet a lot.
No, it was the tweets. It was actually my notification that it came up, and that's why
tweeting.
I know.
But it's just one of those things where there are just different personality types. There are literalists, and Anne Marie seems to be one of those people. But Leah did end it on a good note. You were like, listen, we support you. A lot of our viewers are supporting you. You just need to be able to take yourself and everyone else a little bit more lightly.
Yes, she's like, as long as until Ann Coulter comes out and says that she didn't mean it and she doesn't want to take away my right to vote, and she's my enemy, and she will be my enemy, because she refused. What it was is she refused to take a picture with Gavin McInnes and Ann Coulter because they were there. I believe they were there on in like a rally, an Islam rally,
right?
And so when you have allies, the point is when you have allies, then you cross ideological lines. A feminist would cross lines with somebody who would say, be more conservative and say, I believe most women want to stay at home. And Anne Marie Waters said, no, that's not true. I don't believe that most women want to stay at home. I believe that most women want to work.
Right.
And so that's two differences of opinions. And then she said, Gavin McInnes said that women who go to work are stupid. And you have to understand his personality. He's making fun of crazy feminazis, and he crosses the line several times, in his humor and getting his stuff out there.
Right.
But he reaches a bigger audience. And so, anyways, that was...
Okay, so now go back to your report. I just thought that was right. Okay, so the consensus is that with the Elizabeth Tower, that the Houses of Parliament and the clock need repairing, and that's why they're going into shambles. And they're just fixing it up. Don't let it fall apart. If Big Ben goes, so goes the rest of Britain. All right, what have you got?
Oh, here's one reply to me. So Anne Marie Waters should abandon her beliefs to win favor with people she will possibly have nothing to do with ever. The very reason people are starting to unite behind Anne Marie is that she is genuine and not in the popularity game like all politicians. However, to be a politician, you can't, it's not about being a popularity game. It's about saying, this is where I stand. Mm-hmm. This is where you stand.
Where can we come together?
Can we come together?
And it's an all or nothing thing with a lot of these people. And that's what's so disappointing. Leah was like, she wants to be the leader of one of the larger countries in the free world, because, you know, if you're going to be the leader of your party, you hope your party gets a majority, then she might be prime minister one day. It's probably never going to happen. Sorry, Anne-Marie. But it is a goal, right? And so...
She's going to go to the communist Chinese and say,
we can't talk at all.
I'm not even going to talk to you. You're my enemy.
No, you join hands. That's what being a politician is all about. That's what being an ambassador, right? Dude, we sent somebody to North Korea. Obviously, don't send Anne-Marie Waters.
You're my enemy. We're done. I'm leaving. We're not talking.
We're done. All
it's so weird. Okay, so she says, I was just asked to take part in a photo shoot that included Ann Coulter and Gavin McInnes. I refused. I loathe both of them, and I know I'll lose fans for this, but I must remain true to myself, or what's the point? And I said, Coulter trolls feminists. If we took away women's right to vote, we'd never have to worry about another Democratic president. It's a kind of a pipe dream. It is a personal fantasy of mine, but I don't think it's going to happen. That's what she was saying. This is a joke of Ann Coulter.
I think it's funny.
It's hilarious the way she is saying this.
Right.
So Anne-Marie says back to me, she says, Islamists say they'd love a society where gays were thrown from tall buildings and women are stoned for adultery. Does it not matter because it's unlikely to happen, or does their desire for it to happen actually count?
Actually, Anne-Marie, it does happen. It's happening right now.
It's in their heart of evil that they really want to kill people, okay, and throw people off of buildings. I tweeted back, I don't know where it's at. I don't know how to like find tweets and retweets back and forth. I tweeted back and I said, you're missing the point. Has Great Britain really lost all irony? What happened to Monty Python? Have you lost all humor?
Right.
That you literally hit your enemy below the belt, okay, where feminists... The vote. I have to have the vote. I have to vote. I have to vote. They're literally like this, like horses. I gotta vote. I gotta vote. I gotta vote. I gotta vote. They're not. And so what she does is she rams them,
right,
and is laughing her head off,
right,
at the feminists, saying, "Oh, Ann Coulter doesn't want us to vote." Not one single conservative person who follows Ann Coulter believes she wants to take people's women's right to vote away.
Exactly.
And so I want to sit down with Anne-Marie and say, "Excuse me, Anne-Marie, you could explain to me British humor." Which I don't always understand.
Isn't she like Irish?
I don't know. But let me explain to you American humor, which you obviously don't get. You're missing something in translation. It's like we're both speaking English, but you're not getting the underlying the cut.
Right.
Okay? It's like Donald Trump going around saying, little Marco Rubio or Lion Ted Cruz. But then he goes out and says, Ted Cruz supports Donald Trump.
Right.
I mean, it's a joke.
Yes.
It's a joke. It's her way to get at feminists.
Right.
And you are falling in the trap. She set a trap for these little femmy rabbits, right? And you fell in it. And it's sad to watch.
Right.
It's sad because I can see from the outside that you could actually join forces with Ann Coulter, but you can't because maybe you're intellectually on a different plane that you don't get humor. A lot of people don't get Milo. A lot of people don't get Ann Coulter. They just find her brash. I like hot sauce.
Right.
I like flavor.
She is so nuts with the hot sauce.
I like people who
That's not flavor. That's not liking flavor. As a matter of fact, the people that are addicted to hot sauce here ruin the flavor of every dish that they put it on. So it's not that you like flavor. You like the flavor of one thing. Salt, in the correct amount, enhances flavor. You just douse it in hot sauce.
There was another one.
You ruin the flavor. So you're actually not a fan of flavor, so let's not lie here.
She tweeted back another one.
Okay.
But I can't remember. We can move on.
Horatio says you sent Dennis Rodman to North Korea. We didn't actually.
I think he just kind of went on his own.
And he came back with an I am an ambassador shirt. Okay.
All right. So,
what else do you have?
That's kind of all.
Is that really it?
Well, as far as news goes, yeah, there's Oh, no. I am moving on to American things that you need to see. You need to see this.
Hang on, I can throw this out here because we're not going to cover it until Sunday, but I'm just going to let you guys know. Beata Szydło is no longer Prime Minister of Poland. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what happened. I've got my feelers out to some of my Polish viewers. So we're going to figure that out, but I'm really disappointed.
Okay, so you've got to see this. Senator Grassley on the floor today. And if I can find it, or it was last night actually. Here we go. Awesome.
There are two major controversies plaguing the credibility of the Justice Department and the FBI right now. On the one hand,
I'm bringing it up on YouTube.
Oh, here.
And the Trump-Russia investigation. And then, on the other hand, the handling of the Clinton investigation. Any congressional oversight related to either one of these topics is not credible without also examining the other. Both cases were active during last year's campaign. Both cases have been linked to the firing of the FBI director. I have been trying to explain this to my Democratic colleagues for months. The political reality is that half of the country thinks that our law enforcement establishment gave Hillary Clinton and her aides a pass. These questions go to the heart of the integrity of our federal law enforcement and justice system.
Oh, this is it. Hang on.
Hang on. Now we're learning
I get to
records that Mueller brought in.
There should be the whole of it. I don't know if he goes and plays more. He does. Let me see. I actually did listen to it on Alex Jones. Where are you at? Where are you at? Grassley? Okay.
Yeah, let's do Grassley slams.
I've been doing oversight of the executive branch for a very long time. I've done it as ranking member. I've done it as chairman. I've done it when my party held the White House, and I've done it when the other party held the White House. Earlier this year, I stood up for the rights of my Democrat colleagues to do oversight of the Trump administration, even while they are in the minority. I did it because it was the right thing to do. Lots of people give lip service to the notion of bipartisan oversight, but very few actually practice it. It's tough. You have to be willing to work with colleagues in the other party to ask tough questions of your own political allies. And you can't just ask. If you actually want answers, you have to follow through. True bipartisan oversight is impossible unless it's a two-way street. If Democrats are unwilling to ask hard questions and force answers from their own political allies, then there simply is no way to move forward together in good faith. Both sides need to be committed to getting the whole story, not just the half that they think helps their side. Regardless of whether my Democrat colleagues join me or not, I'm interested in that whole story. There are two major controversies plaguing the credibility of the Justice Department and the FBI right now. On the one hand, the Trump-Russia investigation, and then on the other hand, the handling of the Clinton investigation. Any congressional oversight related to either one of these topics is not credible without also examining the other. Both cases were active during last year.
There was a woman in Florida. She was a convicted criminal.
Okay.
Who said she was a sign language person?
Okay.
I'll play it when I'm done. And she doesn't know sign language. She just went.
That's like the video that So What played.
Is it?
With the languages that she knows.
I'm going to play that.
Offensive campaign. Both cases have been linked to the firing of the FBI director. I have been trying to explain this to my Democratic colleagues for months. The political reality is that half of the country thinks that our law enforcement establishment gave Hillary Clinton and her aides a pass. These questions go to the heart of the integrity of our federal law enforcement and justice system. They are not going to go away just because Clinton lost the election. The independent inspector general at the Justice Department certainly isn't ignoring that issue. Democrats and Republicans in Congress have asked the Inspector General to look into a host of issues involving the handling of the Clinton investigation during the campaign. His hard work has already uncovered some pretty disturbing information. Over the past week, the press has reported that an FBI agent was removed from the special counsel's team and demoted at the FBI due to, what do you think? Political bias. The agent was at the very center of both of these high-profile investigations. High-ranking FBI agent Peter Strzok reportedly used his work phone to send anti-Trump and pro-Clinton text messages to another FBI agent with whom he was having an illicit and immoral relationship.
Immoral. I like that he said that.
This man was the Deputy Assistant Director for the FBI's Counterintelligence Division. He worked on the investigation of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's use of a private server to conduct, what do you think, official business. According to news reports and according to documents, it looks like he also helped draft Comey's controversial public statement ending that case of Hillary Clinton and emails.
Right.
Specifically, he apparently edited out language that suggested legal jeopardy for Clinton. Press reports state that he opened the FBI's investigation of allegations of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And it's been reported that he was one of the two FBI agents who interviewed former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Can you imagine if the shoe were on the other foot? What if a high-ranking FBI official got caught expressing pro-Trump political bias on his work phone while leading what is supposed to be a professional, objective, and nonpartisan search for the truth?
Well, I say the facade would fall.
He stops there. I don't think he goes back to it after that one. So
he's really great in interpreting.
Thank you. Everybody has been playing the same thing over and over again. But I feel like having Senator Grassley give the facts on the House floor or on the Senate floor made it that much more powerful.
Correct.
Now, we have heard this before. I watched Trey Gowdy. I watched Cotton and some other guys go after the FBI director, the current one, and say, what's going on here? And it looks like they're trying to lay down the smack. But last year, it didn't happen. Now, Trump is president now. So I really think things are going to be different.
Okay.
I want to show you.
She wants to do the thing.
The fake sign language interpreter. Here we go. All right. So, Tampa, Florida. Hearing impaired people tuning into a news conference about the arrest of a suspect serial killer got a message of gibberish from an American Sign Language interpreter. It's not playing under Flash. Hang on. I just played it the other day.
All right. Let's see. I can imagine the Democratic Black Caucus with their hands over their ears ignoring Grassley.
Come on. No, we want to see it. You're not even going to show it on this video. I want you to see this. This is worth seeing. I'm not going to show it to you on Ebony Magazine. Let's see.
Edward Wallace says, people in the U.S. want promises not to work and a path to wealth.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I'm just reading some comments while you're waiting.
I like working.
Tonight, we will be making an arrest in the Seminole Heights murder.
No. Arrest. Nuh-uh.
Our detectives are currently working on the charging documents, and we will be charging 4 counts of first-degree murder for Hal Emmanuel Donaldson III, 24 years old. Now, unfortunately, I will not have the answers that you are going to want. This is an ongoing situation. We responded out to the area about 2:30 this afternoon. We received some information about Mr. Donaldson having a firearm at the McDonald's.
She's pretty good.
One of his co-workers
What's she gonna do for
approached a police officer. That is what led us to that. Through our investigation, several hours later, we will be charging Donaldson, like I said, with 4 counts of first-degree murder.
That you have to
I would like to thank the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the FBI, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
And on this case,
She's good. Oh my gosh,
Now-
and it's not real.
We're still going through the whole
How
process.
does it come out?
He worked at that McDonald's.
I don't know for sure that he worked there still. I believe at one point he did. I don't know if he still
She's
does.
a nice
or
robot
did.
dancer, says someone.
Optimism right from the beginning today. What gave you that optimism?
She's good.
I think when I found out there was a gun,
She's
that
got some down.
playing the kind of pump everybody up, and for whatever reason, Monica Hoffa
It said that
was murdered.
it was hearing impaired people tuning in just got a message of gibberish. As Tampa Police Chief Brian Dugan announced all these different facts, she sat up there and waved her arms like she was singing Jingle Bells, who is deaf and teaches American Sign Language. Among the things Robert signed, according to, was the following: 51 hours ago, 0/12/22, murder 3 minutes in 14 weeks ago in Old Murder, 4-5, 55,000 plea, 10 arrest, murder, Bush, 3, age 24. In fact, the chief was providing a timeline of the 4 shootings and describing how his agency had received some 5,000 tips before arresting the 24-year-old suspect. I mean, she had got something out there, right?
So she must have known a little bit of sign language.
I was disappointed, confused, and upset, and really wanted to know why the city of Tampa's chief of police, who is responsible for my safety, did not check her out. And so I don't know what motivates her, but she hasn't returned my calls. I would like to know both professionally and also personally, how did it occur for you to come down to do that?
Horatio says maybe she's deaf and hasn't a clue what she's saying.
She won't face any charges.
Why not?
A person matching Robert's name and age has an extensive criminal record that includes conviction for fraud over $50,000 and fraudulent use of personal information.
I wonder what they did for Ronald McDonald, too. Oh,
so
my
it is
gosh.
actually...
She is going to accidentally throw a gang sign, says Otto.
Well, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. She won't face charges. I mean, seriously?
But I don't know. I mean, it's just, like, I can't even imagine being, you're going to get caught. Like, you totally know.
Anne-Marie tweeted this out. Trans teenager Lily Madigan voted in as a labor women's officer. A transgender teenager who demanded the removal of a female labor member. No. I'm okay, thanks. From her post as a women's officer over her allegedly transphobic views has been elected to the post in her local Labor Party. Lily Madigan, 19, who is born male but identifies as a woman, claims she is the first transgender woman to be in the women's office after winning the vote.
Okay.
So
there is that. So does that...
And I think I'm going to take a second and we are going to discuss Bitcoin.
Wait. Oh my gosh.
Bitcoin.
Okay.
It took 1,789 days to get to 1,000. It took 1,271 days to get to 2,000, 23 days to 3,000, 62 days to 4, 61 days to 5, 8 days to 6, 7 days to, or 13 days to, anyways, in the past couple days, it's only taken a few hours to just jump, and now it's
at 18,000.
Now, Ron Paul did a survey, and he wanted to know if somebody was going to gift you $10,000, but you couldn't touch it for 10 years. What would you rather have? A Federal Reserve note, just regular dollars, gold, Bitcoin, or U.S. bonds?
Gold.
And 23% wanted gold and 46% wanted Bitcoin. However, that's a 10-year. We're talking 10 years.
Wow.
And he was very magnanimous to Bitcoin users. But
he has to be, probably.
He said that we're probably in a bull market for gold.
Okay.
He thinks it's going to go up. And he said that, again,
I'm going to just try to do this.
That Bitcoin.
Whoa, there it goes.
is a fiat currency.
Yes.
And I understand people want to diversify. So if you're going to diversify a fiat currency to another fiat currency,
right?
Do you think it's obviously going up? Those people who had,
no, I'm just messing with the color.
A few days ago, those people who had Bitcoin are really happy right now.
Yes.
However, there is no, like a stock, even on like the stock market, there's nothing tangible to back these things. There's no reason.
Did y'all watch my skit? Our skit?
Watch our skit
Go
again.
watch the skit.
There's no value behind it. No farmer farmed extra that year.
Right.
No builder builded something more.
No, you did not just say builded.
I did say builded? Built?
How is anybody ever going to take you seriously? Ever again?
I don't know. You have a flower in your head. How's anybody take you seriously?
Oh my gosh.
So anyways, I don't even know if this has gone up even more since this morning. So this was at 6:30 this morning.
I just have to look at history. When you read G. Edward Griffin's Creature from Jekyll Isle, he really goes and lays out, this is literally just another fiat currency, and they always fail. Any currency that is not backed by a tangible asset, it always collapses. It always falls. And so, unfortunately, I was telling Leah last night, I was like, you know what? Good for all those Bitcoin people that have reached this point right now. Now sell and buy gold. I'm just saying, it's going to go. It is going to go. It's not going to last. It's not going to become a digital currency of the future.
South Korea is where most of the transactions are being made. I guess this is ahead of some public stock, some public options, I guess, for Bitcoin, that major stock trading websites are going to allow for the trading of Bitcoin. However, they want some regulation, because if it can go up this much, I guess there's fees, right? Mm-hmm. And they could be on the hook for a lot of different fluctuations,
right?
Between the moment that something goes up and the moment that something goes down. This is why I'm not a big fan of the stock market. If you want to invest in someone who's doing something,
right,
then invest in a person, and then you will receive a piece of their particular profit.
So
I don't believe in speculation in the stock market. And speculating, it's fake. And what Ron Paul said was, with this Bitcoin, these dollars, what it actually shows is the weakness of the dollar, that there are way too many dollars out there, that we have. This actually shows what has happened to the American dollar, that something like this can happen, that this is where it's coming, it's flushing to the surface.
Now, we had
all those dollars that they have, quote, printed or put out there
just digitally. They just have to add zeros now.
A lot of these investors in this Bitcoin that's making this go higher, some of them are on the ground people, but a lot of them are like, millionaires or billionaires who have dollars illegally.
Right.
So they can just keep adding, and so they're just trying to add to themselves more and more and more.
We had a lot of viewers after my skit that had legitimate questions,
right,
as to the difference between the dollar bill and assigning a value to it versus a tangible asset such as gold or silver.
Right.
And why can't you just give a monetary value to it, just make something up? And I promised those viewers that we would do an entire segment strictly talking about that and covering it. But the fact of the matter is that I can only go for the United States, because that's what I can go back to historically. But for years and years and years, gold stayed at the exact same price and did not budge a penny until there were a couple of blips. Some of those blips were wars and things like that. And then it rose again and again, consistently stayed at the exact same rate for years and years and years. And what that shows is that it literally has a concrete value. It's like inert. It just is. It has, gold and silver have this value. And so if you take $10 and put it under your mattress, I got to tell you, in 20 years, it's not going to be worth what you could buy $10 for now. It will. Inflation is not a given. It is something that only started with the Federal Reserve, essentially. All right. So if you put gold or silver under your mattress in whatever, 10, 20 years, you could take out the $10 bill and you could take out the gold or silver, and you're going to be able to still buy what you could have bought with your $10 worth of gold or silver or whatever that you did 20 years prior. Mm-hmm. But with that $10 bill, you won't. So it's not a value that we give to these things. It's just a fact. So I kind of equated it to take you have a glass of lemonade and somebody comes to you.
Wait. Start that sentence again.
What did I say?
Take you have a glass.
Did I say take you have? Uh-huh. No, I didn't. Uh-huh. You said builded.
I think you meant to say...
Let's say you have, or take this. It's not lemonade, it's water, but let's pretend for a second that it is lemonade. And somebody comes to you and says, I can make 2 glasses of lemonade out of your 1 glass of lemonade. Okay, that sounds great. What are you, a magician? Can we double it? No, I'm going to add water to it. So you add water to, both and you equal it out. And now you have 2 glasses of lemonade. But that may be fine the first time you do it. It's not going to taste as good as your original glass of lemonade, but okay, it's drinkable. But if you keep doing that over and over and over again, you don't have lemonade anymore. You just have water. So we started out with gold and silver, which is the equivalent of that lemonade. They take us off of gold and silver and give us these promissory notes that used to be redeemable for gold and silver, and now they're not. And then when they literally take us off of the gold, just Google it again and you'll find it.
No, I have like really great statements, and
we'll do a whole segment on it. We'll get your statements in a segment. But we have debased that dollar bill just by adding water to it over and over and over again, and they're trying to sell us on, look, your dollar bill still is that lemonade that you had, and it is not. Right. It's just water. That's all that's left of the dollar right now, and it is getting ready to collapse because you cannot have an economy without a solid, tangible monetary system. And Bitcoin is not it. It is not the savior. It's not going to rescue you. The only thing that is surefire, and it will always be surefire, are precious metals.
I think I might have
all right, so I missed all of the comments there.
I found it.
Okay, but we don't have time to cover it right now.
We're done.
I want to do the mail call.
Okay. Well, I wanted to bring you a few charts here. We can do it another time. Let's say maybe, I don't know if you can drop some of these in the comments or something. What does the Bible say about gold and silver? I guess I'll
do it in the description afterwards. Yeah. How's that sound?
So I wanted to show you guys this just to kind of give you some idea of where we're coming from. This chart will show you that in 1775, the value of the dollar basically stays the same. And it isn't until after the Federal Reserve that it begins to skyrocket and skyrocket and skyrocket. Now, you and I were told when we went to school, one of the reasons that every child has to go to public school is because of the deep state needs to indoctrinate us
that inflation is a natural occurrence. Right. It just naturally happens. I remember hearing that as a child. I know all of you did too.
Right.
That's a lot.
Right. Exactly. I had a great aunt. She was born in 1901, and she would keep cash, dollars. And a lot of people used to just keep cash under their mattress. However, like Michelle just said, she was of a different mindset. She was born in 1901. Her parents lived at a time where that value of that dollar, it didn't change.
Right.
The world was promised at the Bretton Woods conference that the dollar, the American dollar, would stay the same. And we've told you guys this before, and I keep saying it. Everybody says there's not enough gold, not enough silver, there's not enough precious metals.
Right.
The problem is, it's not that there's not enough gold and enough precious metals. It's that there's too many fake, counterfeit, fiat, monopoly money dollars.
Right.
It's fake, especially in the United States, where what you don't realize and what we live off of every day to buy our things, to buy our homes, we benefit. So we have these big, giant, fat bankers who wanted to get rich. They created the Federal Reserve System. They created a fiat banking system. They started to print out money.
Right.
And to keep us silent about it, they allowed us to have credit.
Right.
Okay? And fake credit. So you would go to the bank, and it used to be that to get a loan from a bank, they had to really check you out.
Right.
Because it was literally other patrons' money. that they were lending out.
Exactly.
That's no longer the case.
Now you deposit your money, and then somewhere in some sort of unwritten digital rule, it says, okay, if somebody deposits $100 into your bank account, you can now lend out a fictitious amount of that up to 90%. And you only have to have 10% of it represented. It's very strange.
And so the banks, they're literally creating fake dollars out of nowhere. And you and I, and I'm guilty of this,
right?
We're not complaining about it.
But actually, every time you deposit your money into the bank, you are perpetuating this system.
But we're not complaining about it because we're getting all of this free credit. And when you have free credit, 0%, low interest, these things like this, you can actually make wealth. A lot of people don't pay off their homes because they say, I could make more money in the stock market or the dividends on here.
Right.
However, the money that is had in these banks for home loans isn't real. It came out of nowhere.
Right.
And so what we're talking about, like Bitcoin, the bubble, we don't know when it's going to crash. People say, well, they've been saying it for years. They've been saying it for years. They've been saying it for years. However, when you see pressure on a dam and you see another little crack and you see another little crack,
right,
it's not getting any stronger. Okay. Nothing is getting stronger. There's more cracks. And Obama, after the 2008 crash from Bush to Obama, they literally took sledgehammers to that dam, and water is gushing out. Look at this right here. I need you to see this uptick right here. You have to see that this dam is going to burst. And that's why we tell people, buy gold, buy silver, buy land, buy anything that has some sort of tangible, if you don't want it to just be gone. Now, this will make you sad that this could be a thing. This was in an era of where people knew that you can't debase things.
Right.
Our founding
it's
fathers,
unbiblical, for one.
Our founding fathers knew that if you were to debase coin, that you should be put to death. Actually, we're gonna write a little rap about it.
Yeah, that's right. We have a
little
rap.
rap for this. However, it's put into the to the Gold Act, the Coinage Act, that of 1792, that if anybody were to debase the value, debase the coins themselves, that they would be put to death,
right?
Because it was that horrible of a crime. Now, when you look at from 1792, when we had the Coinage Act, and we put the value of a dollar at a certain weight of silver, okay, when you see that it was worth $19.39. We're talking about a coin. We're talking about an ounce of gold, by the way. An ounce of gold was worth
1792.
Was worth $19.39.
So it continues through. Here we have 1811.
Look how many years it's
1817.
Now what happens right here? We have a little war called the War of 1812.
Right.
So we had
a little blip there.
We had a little blip, but then it goes back down to $19.39. Those blips should happen, but they go back down to everybody. If I had a dollar for 100 years, that dollar was a dollar, and you were taught
that inflation is a natural occurrence.
Inflation only occurs when you have the counterfeit printing
and the credit system.
Right.
It has to. The credit system relies on this.
But you have no credit system if you don't have the counterfeit,
fake
computer dollars. And with the computers, I think Bernard Bernanke or whatever his name is, the Federal Reserve sat down with Rand Paul and said, we don't even change cash anymore. Like, we don't even take it from
sorry, they can't see the screen.
We don't even take when people are changing values or hundreds of millions of dollars are changing.
Right.
They just add dollars. They just add zeros. When there was a bank bailout,
right? Oops.
They didn't print the money.
Bailout is the name of the game.
They literally allowed the banks. They literally just literally made up something.
Right.
It wasn't existed. It didn't exist. They literally put zeros on something and sent these zeros to the banks as a bailout. Right. It didn't exist. Now watch this, you guys.
I don't know why it's so weird today, guys. Sorry with the color.
It wasn't until 1834, and we're coming upon the Civil War, that it went from 1939 to 2069. Now that's not That's $1. That's $1.30. Okay, $1.30. It moved by $1.30. Okay,
that's huge,
right? And it stays there. It doesn't even move by a penny. Okay, well, it moves up by a penny. It goes back down 2 pennies. So for years it's at 20.67. Okay, and then we have a war, and it goes up a little bit. Okay, but I want you to see something else. It goes up, but then in 1879, it goes back down to 20.67 again.
Right.
So this is what we have. We have these little things like this, but it's not a speculative market. Okay? It's not a speculative market until 2067. Even after 1913, the value of an ounce of gold stayed the same until 1933. And then we start to see it jump. It jumps $12. Then it jumps another $3. And it stays about the same, and it just keeps going up. And so this is when we're seeing the inflation happen.
Right.
This is when we're seeing the inflation going up. And then it kind of goes back down again. And then when Nixon took us off,
right,
and you weren't allowed to exchange for silver or gold or anything. We're just done.
Right.
It goes from 44 to 63 to 106, and then in 1979 we're at 459.
I'm trying to pull that up, guys, but I can't. We'll have to. I will put this in the description later.
And then we're at where we're the bailout of we have in the year 2000 we're at $272. Now that would be inflation. Okay, whatever. But then after 9/11, then we have the government printing more and more and more and more and more and more dollars, and you can see that we're at.
It literally starts to rise by like $100 per year here at this point. We're in 2005. It's at 500. 2006, 600. 2007, 800. 2008, 800. 2009, we're at 1,000. 2010, 1,400. 11, 15. 16,
right,
drops
now,
down to 12. Now it's actually, I don't think that's
we're at
right.
12 now. That's at 15.
Yeah, that was 2015.
I think we're at 12 now. My point is that when the value of an ounce of gold gets to be this high, that means there's so many counterfeit.
There's so much water out there in the lemonade. All you have is water.
Right. So that's it. And then we can go to the mail call and stuff
We have completely debased our currency, and so we have to go back. Well, I wanted for you guys just to really understand this. I actually was kind of hoping I might be able to get G. Edward Griffin on for an interview. I'm still working on that. But he really does lay out how, because one of our viewers had said, you don't understand. Using gold and silver is not supported by economics. Well, my friend, for 200 years, roughly, it was.
It wasn't until the Federal Reserve started printing a bunch of crazy
And when
papers.
I told the person, I came back and I said, listen, you're right. Modern economics, where you want to be able to go to the bank and you want to be able to put your car on credit, you want to be able to have credit cards, you want to have all these student loans, none of that is able to work the way that it's working right now without the gold standard.
Only Americans get that.
Right.
Right?
We live in some sort of fantasy land.
You know, other people in other countries, I guess you have credit, but you don't have the credit that we have.
The credit that used to be was more of a personal, I have this amount of money. You come to me, I lend it to you, you pay it back with interest. That's fine. I'm totally down with that.
Credit cards have, the reason that it doesn't matter if you paid back your credit card
is because it's fake money. They literally, no, I gotta tell you guys something. I gotta tell you, go with me here, all right? You go to the credit card company and you say, can I have, $100 or whatever? This is what they do. They grab it like this, just like this, like air from the sky, and they send it to the digitalness, and then all of a sudden, you are able to buy a new mouse. It's like magic.
It is magic.
It literally comes from the sky.
Right.
And then they lent this air to you. But somehow, because it's digital, the air buys you a mouse.
Right.
It's incredible. Do you believe in magic? Well, I hope you do. Because the Federal Reserve is trying to take advantage of you.
And everyone else.
Do you believe
and
in
everyone
magic?
Else.
Yeah.
Like, think about the poor African herds people who have to get like $200 microloans.
It used to be, the old thing was, you know what, son? People. If you want that car, you're going to go work down the street at the grocery store until you save up enough money to buy that car. That's how things used to work. If you wanted something, you worked for it and you saved money and then you bought it.
It's like the mafia, right?
Yeah.
The mob bosses allow their underlings a cut.
Mm-hmm.
And so Americans, we get a cut. And Americans don't want to let go
of
our credit cards.
Correct.
You guys, credit cards are a fairly new thing.
Mm-hmm.
You used to have like a credit for a store, right? And a lot of times credit was actually started for farmers who needed to have an advance on seed, and then they would come and pay it back.
Right.
Things like that. You go to the general store. We're just going to put that on credit for a second, and then I'm going to come and pay it back. That store actually gave you a tangible good, and you need to bring it back. These credit cards literally are just like the banks. They continue to have fake 00000, so they can hand it all out.
They just
and if you don't
keep
pay it back,
adding the zeros.
It's no big deal to them. It really is no big deal to them. But if you borrow it from your neighbor, it's a big deal to your neighbor.
Correct.
So anyways.
All right. Let's see. Otto says, in my area, if you own your own shoes and have a job that pays $9 an hour, you can finance a Dodge truck immediately, but you can't get the same amount to buy land. Very, very true.
Very true.
All right. So I want to go to the mail call. First and foremost, actually, before I get to the mail call, somebody had mentioned in the chat, don't know why, one of our UK viewers brought this up in the chat. It just said salad cream. We're going to try this. I bought this at Jungle Gyms. It cost me $5. This is how much I'm devoted to you people in the UK. This is not something that we have. I showed it to Leah and she says, it's just mayo. And I'm like, Leah, I tried saying that to people like Horatio and what? No, apparently it is not just mayo. So we're going to do a segment. We're going to talk about
zingy.
The differences between UK foods versus
spirit vinegar, rapeseed oil, sugar, corn flour, mustard powder, pasteurized egg yolk. And so the only thing different I'm feeling here in the ingredients is the mustard powder.
So we'll see. We're going to do a little episode. We're going to make BLTs with it, says Horatio. That's what we should do with it. So that will happen. Now, next, we got a gift in the mail. This is the third time this has happened. Now, at least this person, I have their address. I think they're from Pennsylvania. Yes, RDK from Philadelphia. Now, other people send us gifts. This has happened twice before. And it doesn't say who it's from. This is very strange to me. What is this, like giving to God? You don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. I'm confused here, but I want to thank you. So I still have an APB out on the bowls.
Show them the purse.
Somebody sent the 3 of these absolutely adorable, RDK did actually, backpacks. And they're purses. And they're so cute. And I'm assuming, there was no note inside. I'm assuming since there are 3, there's one for me, one for Leah, and one for the Patriot Gallery. They're adorable. This is right up our alley. It's exactly something that we would use. And we cannot thank you enough. But we can't thank you at all if you don't tell us who you are.
Right.
But thank you for whoever sent these. It was an absolute joy to open up. They're absolutely beautiful. I like the idea that it's a backpack, though. Like, wait a minute. All right, so there is that. Thank you, RDK from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for sending these to us. I'm terribly, terribly excited. I'm going to actually, I've been saving to put stuff in it until we showed it to you guys. So the next thing that I have to open, we opened these in advance. Now, we used to do mail calls where we would open it online. But then every once in a while, we've gotten something that it's kind of like, you know what? I want to filter that first. Just kind of, so we're just doing that from now on, I think. So we got a beautiful Christmas card from Bill Burnett. And it says, here, hold that.
It's cute.
We wish you and your family season's greetings and a joyous new year. May God richly bless you all with deepest respect, Pastor Bill Burnett. And it's got beautiful little deer. But I love, it's a card that you attach a CD in it, and it actually says his name on it. So I don't know. I haven't had a chance to play it because we just got this today. So I'm super excited about that. Thank you, Bill, for the Christmas greeting there. The next one that I have is
a Hanukkah card.
Yes, from John Russell from Ohio in Brocksville.
It says, John 10:22, may the light stay forever bright. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas.
I love that we got a Hanukkah card after all of this, and you people giving our Jewish people a hard time. Thank you, John, for that. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to you as well. Oh, you can put Bill's card back there. We usually do an archway of Christmas cards. Now, then, my mom was looking at these when I got them. And she's like, oh, I don't want to show, there's not a return address here. The return address is on the back, so I can show it to you. It says Royal Mail, and she goes, oh, I love Royal Mail. You guys always do these square cards. It's very interesting.
It's very interesting. This is really cute. Oh, come let us adore him. It's a really cute little card. Dear Leah Michelle, I trust that you and your family are well. We so enjoy your programs. Our hearts are with you. Greetings for a very happy and blessed Christmas. Emmanuel, God with us. Love, Julie and Mark.
Thank you, Julie and Mark. So thoughtful to get a Christmas card all the way from across the pond. You could have read that in a UK accent.
I should have.
That's like disappointing.
I know.
Oh, come let us adore him.
All
All right, so
that's cute.
Then we got, hang on, let me put this down. Card from Lori.
Have the best Christmas ever and the best New Year too. Thanks for speaking up for what is right. We all must always speak up because the liberal media is brainwashing the American people. God bless, and thank you for doing such a great show and going on InfoWars. And then
she included a little something for us to buy, cookies. And what else did she say? I remember candy and cookies. Best wishes, Lori from Allentown.
So thank you, Lori.
So thank you. That is absolutely fun. I love Christmas cards. I need to do mine. I think that's on the list for next week. Yes. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the mail call. I actually have a couple of things that people have told me they're going to send me to actually read online. So or to you guys when we go live. So I'm excited about that. So we can look forward to some comments from people.
What were you going to sing tonight?
I think Oh Holy Night.
Okay.
Oh Holy Night is what we're going to sing.
Mom likes it when you put the words up for them.
Don't forget that we go live like we are right now every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and at 1 p.m. for our UK Euro news on Sundays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me see if I can grab this. Jasper is just having fits today. Hang on. I just get the lyrics, man? All right. This should work, I think. Copy. Be patient. Why is it so dark? We're working on the. No, whoa, there. That'll do it. Now we're blue. But I might be able to fix the blue. Hang on. Let's see if I can get rid of the blue. Nope, that just lightens us. Well. Whoa! Didn't mean to do that. That's fun. Whoa! Now you're really going. That's kind of the happy medium. All right. So let me go to scene 4 here. Oh, that's from before. Get rid of that. I don't know what's up with your face. You look like you have no teeth. No idea what's going on there. You guys are so patient with us. That's why we love you. Okay. Let's open this up. Here we go. Oh my gosh, it's black. Why is it black? Seriously.
You can't read it.
No, but I don't know why it's black.
This one's better.
Which one? I don't even know where you're at.
Go back. It'll be there in the top.
Uh-huh.
The Hillsong right there.
Okay, we'll try one more. Okay. Thanks for being patient, guys.
Oh.
Tell them what we're doing tomorrow.
We're butchering our pig. One of them.
We're going to be butchering a pig tomorrow.
Yes. It's chilly out, and it's time, and it's going to be sad. Say a prayer, because...
It's not sad.
It's
sad. It is kind of sad. I've been a little bit nervous about it.
It's time for her to go. The boys don't have a problem with it. Nope. See, and that's the difference between boys and girls sometimes. And I appreciate that.
I don't know what's up with our coloring on this there, but...
Well, we're not... You moved it. Now we're like...
Hang on.
It's like, pretty awesome. I'm going to...
I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going to... I'm going
Yeah, so Kansas has his knife sharpened, and he has his little scalder set up and his little dunk thing, and
it's still weird.
Got to hang him high. I think it was one of your things when you went.
No, that's not what it is.
It's cool. It's cool. It's kind of like really like Christmassy.
It's sparkly.
It's definitely sparkly.
Okay, so we're gonna sing now.
Michelle's gonna start us out. And sing with us. You know, this is not professional.
Nope, it's not at all. You guys are used to that by now. Somebody said the other day, so girls, you were doing good up until you sang. And I came, and somebody else commented like, dude, most of us like it, so how about majority rules? I gotta tell you, we don't sing till the very end of the show. So if you've stayed this long and you still don't like the singing, I think you've had enough fill of Leah and Michelle for tonight, and you may go home. The rest of us would like to sing a little Christmas carol through Christmas, right?
Yes, right.
I love this one. It came to mind.
Okay.
Oh, holy night.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave he is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord. Oh, praise his name forever. His power and glory evermore proclaim. His power and glory evermore proclaim.
There you go. There you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It got a little squeaky at the end, but that is okay.
All right, have a good night. We probably won't come to you tomorrow, but we're
because we're going to be butchering a pig, man.
So what? I am going to get with you.
Yes.
1 o'clock our time, whatever time that is in Germany. We'd love to have you on the phone, Skyping on the phone, whatever.
Absolutely.
Phone Skype.
Yes.
And we can talk about what's going on over there in
So a little bit ago, the Forging Freedom channel had come into the chat. So I wanted to thank you guys for being here. Go ahead and subscribe to their channel. They're kind of a homesteading, patriotic channel. They've got roughly 1,000 subs. So I think we could help move that up. For those of you that are still here, I want you to go and subscribe to their channel. Thank you guys for being here. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth, like, comment, and subscribe to both of our channels, Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring that bell so you get notifications so you know when we go live. And we have a P.O. Box.
107
Milford, Ohio.
Milford, Ohio.
45150. If you have comments that you want us to read on air, we would be happy to do that. Let's see. What is that, your sign language? Are you serious right now?
We're going to sign every episode.
Oh my gosh. All right. So thanks to the moderators for being here. Kelly, worth a look. Gary, Texas Rancher, I know, showed up, and Sooks was here for a little while. If I missed anybody else, I'm so sorry about that. But I think that rounds us up for tonight. No, that's not your name.
L-E-A-H or something like that.
You're throwing gang signs at people.
That's it. They
could be bad. Yeah. I don't know. All right.
Love to you all.
Much love to you all. Mwah. We'll see you back Sunday. That's really great. Oh, a lot of you are asking about that song at the end. It's by our friend Serge, and the link is always at the very bottom. My music by Dominique, right there where it pops up, it says soundcloud.com/Planet Dominique. That is where you can go to find it.
You talked at the end.
Good night, guys. Mwah.